feel like Gordon Bombay would have taken his career to even further heights.
Everything's flashy, everything's cocaine, everything's
Fun.
Open wide for some soccer!
I don't care what your personal thoughts are at home. I care that you hate the
Call
Cowboys.
this college rule!
Welcome, everybody, to the Sports Experience Podcast. I'm Chris. This is Dom. Just a couple of comics in Tucson who love sports, talking about sports. All things sports, except water sports.
I don't know. Sometimes they can be fun, right?
Wait for the next episode.
But
today...
different kind of water sports.
That's true. Today, we are on the hardwood. Who are we talking about?
We're talking about the all-time assists king.
Yep.
Right now, all-time assists king who's had an interesting post-career, which we'll also get into.
Very true.
Much like one of his teammates, but in a different way.
Oh, completely.
In a less criminal, more why way.
Yes, good point. We're talking half of the greatest pick and roll team ever. We're talking John Stockton, the stock man.
The stock man. The stock boy.
The stock boy. Oh my God.
He kind of looks like a stock boy.
That's so good. I don't think he ever had like a nickname like that, and that is
The
perfect.
stock boy. Where do you work? Best Buy. Are they still open? I don't know.
You got to come and see.
They don't allow music in that Best Buy.
Dude, Kenny Anderson literally said he was like at an all-star game or something, and John Stockton came up in regular clothes and was just like, hey, he literally turned and thought it was a fan. Because he was just like, oh, hey, John. Like,
Hello, possibly greatest point guard. Like, honestly.
as a point guard and what you want for a point guard, he at least would be top two, if not top three, or you know what I mean?
Didn't look like magic,
No.
but was as tough and played very awesome. So let's jump right in, Chris. Let's jump right into the stock boy, John Stockton, born March 26, 1962. John Houston Stockton in Spokane, Washington.
Yep.
And, well, he just pretty much stayed in Spokane until he went pro.
Yes.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
I found that like when he was younger, it really was a lot like his professional career, where they were like, he's not the fastest guy. He's not the most athletic guy, but he gives 100% every single time. And they were talking about, I think it was in high school, a track meet where it was like obvious he wasn't the fastest guy, but he just went as hard as he could in the last lap of like a 400 or whatever. And they were like, oh, he has the heart to win.
Yeah, like he's not talented.
No.
And that's the thing I want to like, because when you read about him, you're like, how is this what? No. He's extremely talented.
Yes.
He's just not like elite talented.
Exactly.
But what makes him elite is his work ethic and ability to work on all facets of his game to make him awesome.
Yep.
Grew up with an older brother, Steve, who was also a good athlete, so he kind of tagged along with him. Steve's problem, though, was he was shorter than John. He was only about 5'8", 5'9", was a good baseball player. Apparently, he struck out Ryan Sandberg in high school.
That's cool.
I had read. His parents, Jack and Clementine, his dad ran a bar there, I saw.
Yep, in Spokane.
In Spokane, yeah. His grandpa actually was part of the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, played football there at Gonzaga when they had a team.
Yep.
Won an NFL title in 1926. Houston Stockton. Growing up there at Spokane, he basically went to St. Aloysius Grade School, which was in his neighborhood. Then Gonzaga Prep High School, also in his neighborhood. And by the end of high school, he was a city leader in points scored in a season.
Well, I found it interesting that it's like that thing that everybody, they want to go to college and they want to leave their hometown. He literally said, he was just like, I grew up on the Gonzaga campus.
Yeah.
So it was a very like, I'm going to go here. Like there wasn't really a lot of second thought. And I do like when he was younger and he was playing with his brother Steve, who was 4 years older than him, he would like try and play with these older kids and he would just get roughed up and he would come in and tell his mom like, these older kids are roughing me. And she would literally just be like, then don't play with them. Yeah. And he literally said, he was just like, I would pout for like 2 minutes and then just be right back out on the court. Or the baseball, like that was the thing that he said, like got his original drive was he was like, I have to beat my brother at something.
Right.
And then he was like, as soon as I started to get to like senior year of high school, I was started to be able to do that. And you're like, Okay, I could see that. From the way he plays and trains and all of that, you're like, that makes sense.
You don't want to mess with him.
No.
You don't want to mess with him. It said when he went to high school as a freshman, he was 5'5" and only 90 pounds.
Yep.
But he had 11 and a half size feet and huge hands, which you're going to grow into it. So by the time he's out, he's about 6 foot tall.
Yep.
And he's only recruited by, obviously, Gonzaga, Idaho, and Montana. Washington State, none of the Pac-10 would even take a look at him.
No, he just
Which
wasn't.
I can't believe.
He just wasn't on their radar.
You're so elite, Oregon State, with your basketball program. Oh, no, this guy's too white and too short for us.
Well, it's interesting when you look at it because he goes to Gonzaga and has a really great college career, especially for a team that's under, like they just don't have stars.
They're
not
crappy
an elite.
when he gets there, but then they're mediocre.
Yes, exactly. They're mediocre when he left.
So he makes them better. 83-84, he's the West Coast Athletic Conference Player of the Year. He's got 20.9 points a game, 7.2 assists, 3.9 steals.
Which that'll come up later.
His defense is awesome. His defense is absolutely awesome.
Well, I've heard this throughout his career. The opposite players are like, he doesn't take a play off.
No.
Where you could almost see it on some players. They're like, all right, I'm not going to go for it. He goes for the steal every time.
Well, I mean, he can go lower in those shorts, Chris.
That's true.
You can go low, but when you cut off,
You have to cut them off.
you can't just wear jorts.
No.
You gotta go lower.
You got to get the jeans and then cut them.
God.
What's white trash about that? Oh, no. That's what I don't understand.
Destroying that house. He's actually so good by his senior year in college. He has a tryout for the 84 Olympic team.
Now, this is I saw an interview with him where he was like, this is where I gained a lot of confidence because playing in Gonzaga, you almost feel like there's a higher echelon of college players that you're not playing with.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Because you can only play non-conference, and at this time, you'd really only played it for 9-10 games a year.
Yes.
At most.
So when he goes to these tryouts and he makes the original cut to the 20, so I think they had 76 players in this group. He makes the original cut to the 20 to where they're going to cut it down to 11 or whatever. He literally called, I think it was his dad or his high school coach, and just goes, "These guys aren't that good." And that was it, and he wasn't talking shit on these guys.
No.
It was more of I'm at this level and I didn't think I was.
I can make this it's not out of the realm of possibility me making this team.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of good players on this 84 Olympic team too. So him measuring up to that competition is pretty incredible.
This is where he first meets future pick and roll partner Karl Malone.
Oh, he's already delivered some packages, if you know what I mean.
That's very true. That's very true.
Elementary schools, middle. Well, we go listen to episode 199.
He's the mailman.
Oh, that Karl Malone stork on its way.
That Karl Malone.
Did you see that Patrick Beverly interview where he brings it up?
Oh, and he has no idea.
And then he's like, no, I'm pretty sure. And his face was just like,
yeah, no, because he was like, oh, yeah, so he was 14, and they were like, no, we're pretty sure he was 19 or 20. And they're just like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, Karl. But we're talking about the stock boy here. He's so impressive in these tryouts, although he's one of the last cuts.
Yep.
People have begun to notice him more outside of just the traditional scouting realm, where we're heading into the 84 NBA draft, which is possibly the best of all time, if not at worst top 5.
I was gonna say it's up there, top 3. I did find it interesting before he went on to the Olympic tryouts. He was slated to be 3rd round, 4th round.
They don't even have those rounds anymore.
So literally, he was looked at as one of these kind of late picks, and then Bob Knight, who actually was the chair throwing champion, but was the Olympic coach at that time, fielded some calls from GMs I heard and was like, no, this guy's legit. This guy is without a doubt could play starting point guard in the NBA, and his stock just goes up. Which is crazy, not from any of the 4 years in college, but this tryout, they were like, He's good.
No. And then Bob Knight's like, he threw a chair back at me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how hard he wants to compete.
That's how great of a passer he is.
Like, it hit me dead in the chest. That's how good it was.
It was so good.
He bounced it, Chris. He bounced it.
The bounce chair pass.
So, June 19th, 1984, we have the NBA draft. Hakeem Olajuwon goes 1. Michael Jordan goes 3. I believe Charles Barkley went like 5th or so. And we get to pick 16 in the Utah Jazz, and they take our buddy John Stockton.
And not
much fanfare.
Yes. So they had it, obviously, I think they had it in their, arena where they were like playing it was silence when they picked John Stockton because, like we were saying, nobody really knew him. Nobody watched Gonzaga basketball, especially in this time.
Well, I think they play music during their games, Chris.
Exactly. So it's more of like a shock of like, who?
Yeah.
Than being like, this guy,
He was on a conference call, I think, with the GM, and Stockton was like, are they booing me? And he's like, no, they're just saying who. And all I could think of was, are you saying boo or boo earns?
I was saying boo earns.
God.
Oh,
give that
so
man the 10,000 assists. So his first few years in the league, I did not know this. He was kind of a role player.
He was a
off
backup
the bench.
Yep, backup guard. And what I found interesting from those first 2 or 3 years was he still had 7-8 assists a game.
Yeah.
As the backup point guard. I believe it's the next year that the Malone man shows
84,
up.
85,
84,
yeah, is when
85.
he comes in.
So that
85, 86.
Yeah, because he comes in 84, 85, and
Yeah.
then Malone's in the next year. And he said just that partnership of them both being young and able to just like kind of be the 1-2 punch.
Karl didn't go to a college powerhouse either.
No.
Like, I mean, so, smaller school guys joining a team in a small market. And like you had said, from 84 to 87, he averaged almost 7 assists a game.
As the backup. That's
To Ricky Green. That's what I mean. It's crazy.
yeah.
87, 88, though, is his, like, coming out party. Like, now he has this, like, he basically stole the starting job away.
Yep.
And now it's his for the next forever.
15 years?
Essentially. So that year, he had 3 steals, 13.8 assists, and 14.7 points a game. Magic's not leading the league in assists anymore.
No.
Because of this.
And can you imagine picking up what everybody thought would be like a backup point guard, and he starts dropping 13 assists a game, 14 assists essentially.
Yeah.
And 14 points. That's what kind of everybody was talking about, and a lot of the talk, because it very much is an offense-driven game, you don't hear a lot about how unbelievably great of a point guard, of a defensive point guard he was.
And it's not even the defense. I mean, the defense is one thing because he would lock guys down.
Yep.
He would just, white on rice them the entire time. He could shoot, too. He was a very effective shooter from 2 and 3 point range.
And he was very good at selecting.
There it is.
Yeah, shot selection. And I watch guys talking about him. They were like, yeah, he wasn't great at driving the ball to the basket. He wouldn't really do that unless it's open and he knows, like, it's more of like game strategy, shot selection, and he was one of the best at that.
He's like a Joe Montana, essentially. He's just like 3 steps ahead. Not like the most athletic dude, but like, oh, okay, I'll run it here because that's a first down. Or
And
like, that's an easy deuce.
Yes. And he's one of those players that makes the other 4 players better.
And one thing I did want to add, his entire career, the Jazz made the playoffs every single time.
I saw that, and it kind of blew my mind just because the West was so good in those
Yes, it was.
in those years. Even when he was like, first, second, third year, the West was so strong, and he really just kind of like was the general of this Jazz team that were, actually relevant in this ridiculous West.
And you're watching it going, this 6 foot, 170-pound guy with chest hair coming out of his jersey, refusing to change those briefs, which count as basketball shorts.
They were the best. Short shorts.
I mean, I'm surprised an onion didn't drop with how ballsy he was.
That's true.
But the 87-88, they go to the Western Conference semis and lose to Showtime in 7. 88-89 and 89-90. Now he makes his first 2 All-Star games. Now people are talking about him as like, well, he's not a similar player in terms of style. This is the next best point guard after Magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I believe it starts in 86 where he's assist leader. He's going to be the assist leader for 9 consecutive seasons. So that was the biggest thing that I think Magic said was he was just like, from me, who is a pass first point guard, to you, who's a pass first point guard. He was like, I don't think anybody I've ever played against is better at that type of point guard.
And you're so much nicer than Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, my God. Everybody hated Isaiah Thomas.
So between those 2 years, he averaged 17.2 points a game with 14.1. That's over 160 games. And I'm going to say this. He never really misses any games.
No.
He's always in the lineup. Due to his toughness.
I was going to say he plays around 80 out of the 82 games in a season. It's crazy.
And he leads the NBA in steals with 2.9 steals.
Yep.
Oh, God. 88-89, though, they lose in the first round of the postseason. Actually, both years to Golden State and Phoenix. So we're going to see this with Utah. We kind of talked about it in the Malone episode. Playoffs are either just feast or famine for this franchise.
And it's just so hard coming out of the West.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it really is a testament to how great of a point guard he is that they made it 19 straight seasons. Oh, and then where are we at? We at 89 where him and Malone get co-MVP of the All-Stars.
Uh-huh.
You're right. He steals and assist leader pretty much for a while.
Which is crazy. To me, it's just crazy that it's one person doing all this.
Yes.
And I don't know. I mean, with the quality of the point guards in that conference, too, is Jesus.
Very true.
90-91, 17.2 points, 14.2 assists, another 2.9 steals. He had 28 assists in a game against the Spurs that year.
Career high, which if you just... 28 assists is so unbelievably crazy.
That means, at worst, you've assisted on 56 of your team's points. At worst.
It's crazy. He also scored 20 in that game. He went 20 and 28.
They need to do a 20 and 20 stat like that. How many times has that been? I bet you that's a strictly like either like old-timey center where you could get 20 blocks.
Hey, yes.
Or like an Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson like stat.
Yep.
They go to the second round and lose to Portland in 5 that year. 91-92, almost 16 and almost 14 a game as far as points and assists. 3 steals a game.
Mm-hmm. So there was a game, I believe, in 91 or 92 where he almost had a triple-double. He had 19 points, 11 assists, and 9 steals.
Oh, God.
And that's the kind of, like, where you're just like, wait a second. He had a game where he had 28 assists, and you're like, hold on. He had a game where he had 9 steals.
How do you get 9 steals?
That's what I mean. It's crazy.
This is the first time the Jazz ever went to a conference finals.
Yep.
They finally start making their way through the West. They beat the Lakers in 5, the Sonics in 5, and then they take Portland to a game 6, but end up losing to Clyde the Glide and all of them. That summer they go to he's named to the Olympics.
Yep.
Because his name is not Isaiah Thomas. And also because he's awesome.
He is awesome, but like a lot of people say this, they're like, no. John Stockton, amazing point guard. Isaiah probably should have gone if we're just talking about like how good they were at that time. But so many people hated Isaiah. You're just kind of like, yeah, John Stockton should get that.
But I like that you brought that up. If you're talking about 1992, who's had the better career in the NBA, you'd say Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be the case when we're about 10 years from now.
No, exactly.
They end up winning the gold medal because obviously,
We know.
That's the best team ever made.
Yes.
I think we've done about half the roster.
I
already.
know. Because it really is just an iconic time in basketball and really just 11 unbelievable guys.
So this is the year 92-93. They're co-MVPs of that All-Star game in Utah.
Okay.
They're picking and rolling, playing some great fundamental basketball for those Salt Lake Soakers. 15-12 that year. Leads the NBA again in steals, but they lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Because the West is so rough. And
because you have Gary Payton and fucking Sean Kemp.
I was just going to say.
A not fat Sean Kemp.
Yep.
Rain Manning it up. 93-94. This, oh boy. Now we're going to get into the missed opportunities for not only Stockton, but just Utah in general.
Okay.
Because this is the first of those types of years. I think we get into 93-94. Like, because 91-92, you're just happy to be there.
Yes.
93-94, you're like, what the fuck did we just do?
Well, it's more of like there's expectations for the first time in Utah, and they're just like, we could win this, and then you're like, oh, we should have won that.
15.1 points a game, 12.6 assists, 2.4 steals. They, in the first round, they beat San Antonio. In the second round, they get lucky. Denver beat Seattle in that Mutombo series.
Oh, yes.
Denver takes them all the way to 7, but they end up getting through. And then they have the Western Conference Finals against the Rockets.
And I've heard Stockton say this where he was like, there was a point where we were like, are we ever going to be able to beat the Rockets? Because they would beat them regular season. They just had their number. And it, that Western Conference, baby.
Yep. Following season, again, leading the NBA in assists with over 12. On February 1st, 1995, though, I didn't want to add, passes Magic Johnson as the all-time assists leader.
And
he's only been starting for like 7 years.
That's exactly where I wanted to point. He's been in the league for a decade, but he's only started like 7 years. And the amount of assists he has at this point, you're like, this is crazy. He had like 9,000. I think to beat him, it was like 9,600 or whatever. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. And when it's like, oh, God, when Hank Aaron broke the home run record, it's just like, I'm just going to keep adding more to this.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a couple more 30, 40 home run seasons.
So Magic Johnson had a great quote. He said, John, from one assist man to another, you are the greatest team leader I have ever played against. Coming from Magic Johnson, that's all you need to know about John Stockton, for Christ's sake.
And then in that year, he also broke 2,000 steals. So in the year that he passes Magic Johnson in assists, he breaks 10,000 assists and breaks 2,000 steals.
The best is when you hear about guys who played in the same era who are also Hall of Famers, like Gary Payton, just talking about just what a fucking nuisance he was to play against.
Yes. And that's Gary Payton. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Gary was the glove, a nuisance to play against, and he was like, God, I hate going up against Utah.
God. And it's not just because it's in Utah.
No.
So that year, though, 94-95, they're the 3 seed in the West, and they lose to fucking Houston.
They lose to Houston again.
How are we going to beat the Rockets?
Yep.
Leads 95-96, like you said, is 9th year in a row leading the NBA in assists, 11.2. Go to the playoffs, and they can get to turn the corner again. They beat Portland in 5. They beat San Antonio in 6. I think they beat them by like 30 points in the game 6.
But they run up against those Supersonics.
Oh, they got. This was an underrated series.
Yeah. Well, it in this era, it was unbelievable point guard, really powerful power forward, and they matched up against each other like that. And I feel like they just didn't have it after these 2 hard series to beat the Sonics.
The shitty part is they were down 3-1 and they forced a game 7.
Yep.
Which in any other year, Seattle's NBA champions. That was the 72 Bulls team.
Yep.
But like, what the hell, dude? Like, at that point, you got to be thinking, are we on an ancient Indian burial ground?
Yeah, because they just couldn't make that final jump to the finals.
That summer, though, he goes to the Olympics again in Atlanta. They win another gold medal because that's what
happens in the Olympics.
That's what happens in the Olympics when you allow professionals to play.
Yep.
So 96-9. Next 2 years, though, this is why it makes me mad because of my bit about what would happen if they won a championship. Mm-hmm. Because when I was watching The Last Dance, Chris, I was so mad. I'm like, you deprived us of not only one, but 2 riots, Michael Jordan.
In Utah.
You took it personally, and I took that personally.
Mormons going crazy.
Oh, gosh. Just those bike bonfires. Those would have to be pretty good.
Malone wasn't talking about you.
Oh, God. 96-97, they win a then record, I believe, 64 games for the franchise. I think it might still be a record. For them.
I think it is.
Goes just over 14 and 10.5. Now there's now I think they're finally the number 1 seed. I don't think they've ever been the number 1 seed before in the Western Conference. They sweep the Clippers. They beat the Lakers in 5, and then they meet the Rockets again in the Western Conference Finals, which for John had to be pretty like, ooh, here we go.
It really was that mountain they couldn't climb, and then we're going to fast forward to Game 6.
May 29th, 1997.
At the end of the game, if you watch this, they inbound the ball, and Stockton is just wide open. It's a screen from Malone.
How is there no one on him, though?
If you watch it, Barkley follows Malone.
Of course he does.
Because, hey, Charles Barkley, not the sharpest knife in the...
He won all those NBA championships, didn't he?
Oh, my God. He has so many. Too many.
Too many for Charles.
But if you look at it, he follows Malone, and Stockton is so unbelievably wide open that you're just like, there it is.
I would have been more surprised if he missed it.
Oh, that would have been brutal.
But
it actually does happen later in the finals.
Yes,
But
well, we'll get into that later. He basically... They call it the shot. The
shot, yes.
So they end up winning the game, go to their first NBA Finals. He had 25 points and 13 assists in that Game 6.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they go to the NBA Finals and face those Jordan teams.
Yeah.
And
whoa, the mighty Scottie Pippen.
Oh, the mighty Scottie. Whatever happened to that guy?
He was the real leader of that team.
He sure was. Remember when he went out of that game? They lose in 6. I mean, Chicago in that era, I don't think we need to say anything else.
No.
But
yeah. Seriously, though, that's what, like we were talking about with any of these guys from the West, Clyde, Sean Kemp, almost anybody.
David Robinson.
He
had to wait.
He had to wait until Michael was like, I'm done. Like, it really is these unbelievable teams.
Chris Mullin with the fucking Warriors and then Pacers. Like,
come on, Chris Mull.
Patty, he denied at least 60% of that Dream Team rings.
Yeah. No, seriously, though.
Like, oh, God. 97-98. He misses 18 games due to a knee injury this year.
Which is, it's so rare it has to be talked about because he never misses 18 games in a season. He always gives them like 80.
So they go to the, I believe they're the number 1 seed again. Mm-hmm. Draw the Rockets and beat them in 5. Then they beat San Antonio in 5. This was their first year with Duncan after that 60-loss season.
Yep.
And then we get to the Western Conference Finals. And they sweep the Lakers, but do you know why this is the famous Western Conference Finals? This is the Cancun on 3.
This is the Cancun, yeah.
This is the one for Nick Van Exel.
Because he was like, we lost.
He's like, we lost, and then someone's like, man, I hate that guy. Maybe I should go for a helicopter ride after this. He really died of being too rich.
Yes.
When we look back on Black Mamba, that's, I think, what we're all going to say.
It's true.
But they go to the NBA Finals and draw the Bulls again.
Yep. Bulls again, Game 6. It is kind of sad, but...
This is really... Because we're in Utah.
I was just going to say, if you're a Jazz fan, this sucks. If you're a Bulls Jordan fan, you're like, God, he's amazing. Stockton hits a 3 with like 50 seconds left. Mm-hmm. Jordan then scores 2 different field goals.
The steal of Malone zone.
Yep. And then Stockton has a 3-pointer with 5 seconds left to essentially win the game.
It would look like it was going in. Yep. It did. Could you if he makes that, I bet you they win that Game 7.
Yeah. No, seriously,
Because
because
it's back in Utah, I think. And, man, I don't know. I mean, only Jordan could come back from something like that, but still, like, that's... You could have broken through. And I'm not blaming Stockton for missing that shot. No, but it's just like, oh.
Well, it's like, when you shoot a basketball shot and you're like, that's in, you can you almost feel it off your fingertips. He said he was just like, as soon as I shot it, I was like, that's in, and it missed. And I was like, it was such a shock to him at that point. Obviously, losing the NBA Finals, they never go back to the NBA Finals. They never will again. The Jazz aren't even a franchise. I'm just kidding.
I don't want to sound like a dick, but expecting it to go in, John, you've been with this team for about 15 years. What has gone right in the biggest moments? And I'm not being mean,
he was
but
we beat the Rockets.
Yeah, like, we beat the Rockets. Oh, well, that's just the fucking greatest player of all time. Next 4 years, I didn't want to add. So from 99 to 2003 with Utah, he doesn't miss a game.
No.
And he's taking less money. He's even substituting salary cap space for his son's ice time at the arena.
And he's also in his 16th, 17th, and 18th year as a professional basketball player, and he doesn't miss a game.
The shitty part for Utah, though, is right after that second finals appearance, Los Angeles and San Antonio just take that conference.
Yep.
Like, it belongs to them, and the Jazz don't really rebuild enough. They're still rebuilding.
And I was going to say, it's hard to match up against what San Antonio was doing with Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and what LA was doing with like Shaq and Kobe. It's hard to even find that kind of talent to rebuild on.
No, for sure. But like I said, plays the last 4 years out, for Utah. He doesn't go ring chasing.
Nope.
Like his buddy there. He calls it a career. May 2nd, 2003. He's in the Hall of Fame twice. Actually, he's in the Hall of Fame 2009 for his self, and then 2010 he goes in with the original Dream Team.
Yep,
which pretty awesome.
No, that's awesome. Ends his career as assist leader, steals leader. Which I've heard somebody say they were like, people say this about records. We're probably never gonna see those records broken.
You know what those are like? Those are like Ricky Henderson's in baseball.
I was thinking Cal Ripken's.
That too.
Junior.
Yeah,
but that literally, like you were saying, like they just don't play that game like that anymore, to where you're going to see somebody get a ridiculous amount of assists over a 20-year period.
Who's going to stay this healthy over that period?
Exactly.
And with load management and whatever. Yeah, but John Stockton, 10-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA second team, 2-time gold medalist, and 50 and 75th anniversary teams, which pretty damn awesome. And let's move on to his retirement, Chris. We had alluded to that before. What's been going on with old Johnny Stocks the last 5 or so years?
I was going to say, you didn't really hear much about him for 15 years.
You didn't.
And then
you just didn't.
That good old pandy came around, and it just affected people different, and he just really took to the streets about being anti-vaccine, and in 2020 and 2021 had a lot of controversial, we'll say.
He tried to sue the AG of Washington.
Yep.
The state of Washington.
And I think
Gonzaga wasn't even letting him go to the games.
Yep.
Although if I'm Gonzaga in that scenario, I'm like, dude, just
do it.
We need you.
Yeah.
Too. We need you. I mean, you were all we had before the last 25 years.
No, seriously.
Of basketball. I mean.
And then in 2024, him and I believe it was a football player,
Ken Rutgers.
Yep. Created this organization to try and get medical religious freedom over vaccines, and just weird kind of anti-science kind of stuff.
It was an interesting turn.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I didn't. The Malone zone thing. You're like, whoa, buddy.
Yep.
But that there was like he had set a precedent for that with past behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed he became like a farmer or something.
No, seriously.
Like,
but you know, the internet and that pandy just
Where'd you get that Falcon? Internet.
The internet. Saying that, literally top 2 point guard for me, I would say Magic and then him. Isaiah's 27th. But
I got him in a cool 35.
he is the exact type of point guard that I would always want on my team. Defense, hard-nosed, will take screens on bigger guys like a Malone if they run a reverse pick and roll. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff where you're just like, that's the kind of point guard that I would always want.
And he'll get on your ass if you're not working hard enough.
Yep.
That's also why I liked him, too. Yeah, or I still like him. He's a great player.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like all-timer, John Stockton.